Grab them.
It's Michelle Alcorn. And we're so, look, and my mom arrives with lobster. Can you imagine what gets better? So we're live here from Canada on Atlantic Canada Cooks, week 205. Can you imagine, Mom?
No.
Right? Tomorrow's going to be July 1st. July 1st is, it's Canada Day. So that's so special for all Canadians. Our, so many new Canadian citizens this year that we know that have immigrated here. It's going to be unbelievable fireworks, parties, food. And I think that you're going to see all things Canadian, but that also includes a lot of our international community and them bringing their dishes to us. But today, Mom and I are going to stick pretty authentically Canadian. It's a long weekend here, so we know many people are away. They're at their cottages. They're at the beaches. Yes, we have amazing beaches here. So they're out at the beaches, probably for us near Shediac, New Brunswick, and Grand Dig,
Grand Lake.
There are a lot of grants.
There is a lot of grants.
So lobster is such a significant thing, and I think Atlantic Canada is quite well known, and it's one of our favorite.
Well, it's the best lobster in the world from Fundy Bay.
Why is it the best lobster?
It's the coldest and deepest water.
So when you have really cold and deep water, these beautiful, we're going to hold this guy up. We're going to see in here, this is about 1.5 pounds. I have to keep that in ounces. And they're about the same size. I've taken the tail off of this one. So we're going to use that part of it. So our menu today is really fun. And it's going to show that, well, we'll show them a couple more lobster things. Mom's going to walk away with the lobster. I don't know if it'll be back. So we're going to be doing some, well, lobster rolls are incredibly important here. My buddy Jason Gallant has been all over for Hub City Foodies, tasting lobster rolls and clams. I have to tell you, Jason, I know you're having fun, but I wonder how much weight you're gaining. But I want your job. So, but we're going to make some beautiful lobster rolls today, but we're going to use some nice romaine lettuce as our wraps on the outside of that. So as usual, my mom and I were out, Morning Joan, yesterday, touring some local markets and actually local international. We're at the wonderful Arabiyya store on St. George Street that's owned from an amazing Syrian family. And we're excited because we pick a lot of our fresh produce up there. So we also had a great visit to another meat market called Rinzler's. And so one of the other dishes we're going to make, and this one's fun, because a lot of people know Canada for a lot of different products, and there's Shinobu from Japan coming in. But one thing that's really cool is a lot of people don't realize that Canada is like a global award-winning whiskey maker. So we're going to use some whiskey. No, we're not drinking it. My mom asked when she came over this morning if we were having a party. Of course, we're going to have a Canada Day party, but we're going to use some of this whiskey in a marinade that's going to go into this beautiful thin sliced beef that we got from a great local butcher, Rinzler's. So there's different types of whiskey that you can get. This particular one is called Seagram's. And I'm going to make a giggle when I say this comment. Crown Royal is my mother's favorite. We might be able to tell by the bottle.
Enjoy.
So, and this one in this beautiful crown-shaped bottle is something, and I see Jawad even nodding from Morocco, because this whiskey is around the world, and it's known for that crown that comes onto it. And what's kind of cool is that comes a lot from our relationship with the King, Queen, and our relationship with England. So that's a great piece of Canadian, interesting information. But we're going to use it in some beef. That's what's going to be going on with that. And it wouldn't be Canada if we weren't going to make some poutine. So people often say, you know, what's authentically Canadian? And there's a lot of cool things that are, but we're going to use some poutine. And that's some potatoes with some amazing cheese curds, and some gravy. So we're going to be making that dish, which when most people come here, they really just can't wait to try. And so I'm going to have a little bit of fun with that one. And Canadian bacon. So that's another one. We're very much known for that bacon. It's a smoked bacon, or it's often like a pea meal or a thicker bacon. So that's something that we're known for. We're going to use bacon two ways today. I've got some of it nicely fried up here. This is a beautiful smoked bacon. And I picked this up from A Taste of the Homeland, which is another amazing store here in Moncton. So this one I have fried up. It's been double smoked. So delicious. That's going to be part of what's going to go in our poutine. So we're going to make that really Canadian. And in addition to that, we're going to be using some of these beautiful zucchini. And zucchini is grown around the world, which is, I love showing a vegetable that is very much readily available around the world. And zucchini is kind of like cauliflower. You can turn zucchini into anything now. But we're going to be making this because we have zucchini crust sometimes. And I see so many more. Darlene here from Moncton coming in, and Batter. We haven't seen him from Morocco in a while. We're going to be making this into kind of like a zucchini layered lasagna dish. And we're going to be using some of that great smoked Canadian bacon in it. And of course, we're not going to disappoint you. You know we're going to be using maple syrup. And the maple syrup is going to go into a couple of different recipes. And peanut butter is something that's extremely well known in Canada. So we're going to make some nice peanut butter balls. So let's get cooking. We've seen all these ingredients. I can already smell everything. So it smells great. And the dishes that we're doing today are fairly simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by seasoning and getting my meat together. And I want to say, go to a nice local butcher. They're everywhere in the world. And you know what? They're amazing at what they do. I also think when you go visit your local butcher, it's a great conversation. And I have to call out because one of my favorite places to go is in Tétouan, Morocco, with Jawad's mom to her butcher. Now it's fun with Jawad, but when Milo shows up, it's like a superstar just walked in the door. So I love that. So Milo, this one's for you. This is really thinly sliced beef. Now, I would never be able to get it sliced this perfectly thin. So it's great where they've got the tools. So what I'm doing, and you see it's almost like paper thin. Some people use this for like hot pot, shinobu. This would be great for shibu. Oh,
Shabu, shabu.
thank you. Shabu, shabu. And
Yes.
that's it, right?
Yes, yeah. Yes, very soon.
Very much the same. And there's, I see Dion coming in from Halifax. Thank you. So this thinly sliced beef. So what I'm going to be doing, see, I did not use my loose these yet. So I'm going to season the beef. And even though it's going to be going into a sauce, if you really want great flavor, put a little seasoning directly on to the meat, and you're always going to get a little bit better flavor. And I'm just going to put a little bit of this beautiful smoked sea salt. And this is Atlantic Canadian salt. And I put it on the smoker in my backyard. So we love those do-it-yourself projects. So we've got a little bit of salt and pepper on that. The next thing I'm going to do is I've got a little bit of just garlic powder. And I'm just going to put a little bit of the garlic powder the same across. This beef is so thin that I'm not going to season both sides of it because it really doesn't need it. And then we're going to put it in with our marinade. So we're going to set this over here. Remember, salt, pepper, and we're going to use the Crown, Mom. We're going to use the good stuff, or we would say the top shelf. It's the one that's open. So Mom's telling me to use the other one. So we're going to open up the Seagrams because it doesn't go bad. So she says the Crown Royal is the stuff she likes to sip on. So She's not wrong. So we're gonna put this one over here. And we're gonna open up this one. I love it, Mom. This will be her favorite dish. Woo! That smells good. Nice and smooth though. 1883. So there you go. You know they've been doing it a while. So in this, I'm going to put 1/4 cup. And I want to remind everybody that the alcohol will cook out of this recipe. And I'm dropping things. So what it's going to do is it's going to give it those deep flavors that are there. And if you were using a much heavier beef, it also would function as a little bit of a marinade too. I know. Here, I'm at another episode where I didn't open the bottle in advance. So I know what my mom's going to do. So maple syrup gets a little sugary. So we're going to deliver it over here and she's going to run that under some hot water. And I'm just going to get my tomato paste out here. Michelle's losing all ingredients when she was organized. And we're going to put a little bit of a tomato paste in this. Here we go. So I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of a tomato paste that's going to go in. And it's kind of like a little bit of a barbecue sauce type of marinade that's going to go on these. Thank you, Mom. Did you test it?
Mhm.
She tested it. So I need that little cup that I dropped though. So I'm going to use equal parts whiskey to beautiful Canadian maple syrup. This particular maple, handy that, Mom. Well, I bet you that's good. I'll dip my finger in that spoon. Whiskey and maple. And you already can assume that they make a whiskey maple. So don't worry. We literally have put maple in everything in Canada. There's nothing that you can't get that doesn't have maple in it. So I have literally my maple syrup, my whiskey, and some tomato paste in here. And remember, I've already put some salt and pepper and garlic. So the last thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to add a little of onion powder in it. Well, this is like a granulated onion. And I'm going to put about a teaspoon of that. And in this mixture, I'm going to add a little bit more cracked pepper. And that should do for what we want. So it's got a beautiful color. And we don't need a lot because remember my beef is really thin. So Mom, if you could hold that, there's our beef plate again. You hold this for just a sec, please. I'm going to take the beef. Well, I'm actually going to take the marinade. I don't even need that bowl. I'm going to take these thin little beef slices now because they're really delicate and I'm going to put them right into this mixture. And these are just going to sit in here. And we often laugh and say, everybody in the pool. Guy Fieri says that. He's one of my favorite Food Network chefs. And they're going to go in here to have a little maple whiskey bath. So we could joke and say we're going to have drunken beef later. But the flavors are really going to be there. And I hope that you can see that that mixes up really quite well. I didn't need a lot of mixture. And there was 28 little pieces of beef. And these are going to be served as an appetizer. So that smells really yummy.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Yeah, Helen approved. So Mom, we're going to let that sit over on the side because that needs to sit for a bit. And we're going to cook a couple of pieces of that up here at the end of the show. So that's what's going on here. I'm going to get my zucchini casserole started. And we're not going to bake that today because my mom and I are going to bake it this afternoon. So we're going to get this one together. So I'm going to use a nice glass pan. Any type of a baking pan is good. And I've got these wonderful zucchini. And I like using this size. Now I'm growing zucchini in my backyard too. So we're going to be watching and keeping an eye out on the zucchini progression. And I want to thank Elena because Elena brought those over for me. And yesterday, her and her husband came over and helped me do some work in the backyard, get some gardens ready, and build a cover for our heat pump. So we're very communal here in Atlantic Canada. And I, of course, paid them with food. So we made sure that we enjoyed a great meal together, and we had a lot of fun getting that work. So you see that one small zucchini is going to make a lot of layers. So you want to cut those zucchini up so that we can have those layers in the pan. So Mom, if you wouldn't mind, do you want to get some olive oil and just layer that out with the olive oil for me? And you build this dish like a lasagna. So it's something that I really quite like because there's such a simplicity to it, but the flavors in it are amazing. And I can tell you, I've used these flavors. I've made this dish around the world. I'm going to be traveling for some vacation back to Morocco, and I'm excited to make this dish for my friends and family there because it's one that I guess Mom and I quite make a lot. I think I'm only going to need 2 of those zucchini. So we're going to hand those over to Mom. So Mom's put some nice olive oil through that bottom of that pan. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the zucchini, I think you can see here, I'm going to borrow my cheese bowl. I'll be looking for the cheese after.
Yeah.
It's underneath. You guys will tell me I see down there. He'll be Michelle. The cheese is under the zucchini. So we're going to layer these just across. This is awesome. So I'm going to see these skinny ones. The bottom of the pan. Kind of like a puzzle to get them fixed together. So I get a nice thin layer. And these ones are the little skinnier ends. They taste delicious. No one's really going to see those, so make sure you get those. Do we have all of them up?
Yeah.
Okay. Get those put in. So we've got our nice layer of zucchini in there. Oh, that was an accident that I made it that pattern. But, you know, we're going to enjoy it anyways. So now what I'm going to do is I've got some wonderful leeks. We often talk about leeks. They're such a great vegetable. And because really it's a giant green onion. What gets better than that? So when I cut them, and then make sure you clean them because sometimes they get dirt in through, but we've diced those up. And what I'm going to do is I'm putting a layer, like a nice thick layer of the green onion across. And I'll tell you, they're going to be delicious. And they give the mild onion flavor, but not so much that it's harsh, I guess is the word we're looking for. And if I was going to use a regular onion instead of a leek, I would just suggest that you soak the onion just a little bit in water beforehand. So it takes what we call the bite out of it. So Mom's making sure I'm getting it in all the corners. Mom, why don't you come around on this side so everybody can see you? It's great. That looks good. So we've got that beautiful layer of onion across it. And now what I'm going to do is I've got these tomatoes, but before we do the tomatoes, Mom, I've got these great garlic scapes. So anybody that grows garlic in the world will know that these are awesome. And many people don't think about eating them. They are just as great. I want you to see how they curl. That's when you know they're ready to pick. These would bloom into flowers, again, that are edible. But when you cut these off, the life goes down into the bulb of the garlic. So that's where we really want it. So we're going to get this here. And I should have diced these up ahead of time. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm cutting them into sizes. And they're probably about 1 centimeter. And I'm just going to put those garlic scapes through. And they're going to add that great garlicky flavor that we love, but not using the garlic bulbs. And I love it. Mom keeps pointing around so that they're in every bite. But now they're flying everywhere. So I think that one might have just gone into something else. But I always love my kitchen scissors. They certainly make certain jobs much easier. Here we go. And we make sure those garlic escapes. So that's going to add that garlic flavor. And we wish we had smell-o-vision. But this is summer savory, and we often use this dried. And I know it's one of Jawad's favorite herbs, which is fun because they don't really grow this exact herb in Morocco. So we're going to be putting this through to add that great herby brightness. And I want all of you to please go get some fresh herbs in your life. Plant them outside. These come back every year. Find a place. Chives, right, Mom?
Yeah.
Every year they come back over and over again. And we want you to plant the fresh herbs because I promise you, they'll change your food flavors, the way it tastes. And I think that you'll enjoy just having that opportunity to have these great herbs in your life.
Save going buy them at the grocery store. every time.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's easy, and there's a joy in picking them out of your backyard. So this is really going to have some extra herb flavor. So I am going to add a little bit of fresh oregano as well. And if you can see that little bit yellowy, this is called a globe oregano plant. And it again has really nice flavor. It's not harsh. And it's going to make this dish extra delicious. Now, I think right now all of my vegetarians would love it. And it's a great vegetarian dish. But Michelle needs to add this to be a little bit more Canadian. Only because, and I'm going to put the air fryer on here to start our French fries for our poutine. And maybe Mom, if you can get that water boiling on that front pot. I have some beautiful double smoked Canadian bacon. So what I'm going to do right now is I am going to put a layer. Now you could use a nice cured beef. I have done this with a beef prosciutto before. Absolutely delicious. Great substitute for those. A lot of people don't eat pork. So, but we're just, look at those, Mom. It's like they were made to go in the pan. We're going to show you that. So these are unbelievable. I feel like I want to put more, but I really just need the 8. Because everything's better with bacon. So there we go. Look at that. You can see the layers. See, Shinobu's just smiling. Shinobu, you would love this recipe. So we need some moisture in there. I think we're kind of thinking what's going to be. Remember, zucchini?
Moisture.
Full of moisture. So it's already going to give us some of that great moisture. So what I'm going to do here, though, is I'm going to put a little bit of extra salt and pepper. And I know it seems funny in this layer here because, thank you, Mom. Because on top of this, we're going to put our tomatoes. So the tomatoes are going to be sitting right next to that beautiful smoked bacon. So, wow, these are nice, huge tomatoes. And we're going to layer those across. I thought it was going to be right. Yeah, almost pretty much one tomato is going to do it. But I'm going to cut one other tomato up here. This is very easy to also do and bring somewhere. Can you take that plate, Mom? It's a great dish because you can leave it like this and then you can bring it to a friend's to bake. And when you think about tomorrow is Canada Day here, July 1st. It's also the anniversary, 25 years. Mom and I have been in this house.
Yes.
And this is a great dish that you can bring to parties. And we love to do something in Canada called a potluck. So basically, it's kind of like it sounds. Everybody brings something in a pot and you're lucky for whatever you're getting because it's probably great flavors. Right, Mom?
Right.
So there we go. I don't need Dion to remind me. I know where my cheese is. So we're going to top this off. Thanks, Mom. With there, I'm just going to use this one because it's a little bit stronger. So I've grated up 3 kinds of cheese because I love stuff. I got Masstown Creamery. So I have lots of cheese. So I have a pecorino in here, and that's kind of in the Parmesan type family. And I've got a nice smoked fontina and a little bit of regular yellow or orange cheddar. So this is the last piece that's going to go across the top of this dish. And we're going to put this beautiful layer on top of the cheese. Trade you that, Mom. And you can
I
add,
always get the empty bowls.
doesn't she? We love that. Then she gets to eat all the good stuff later too. So, right?
Right.
The trade. So there we have it.
That's a heavy.
That's a heavy one. You can see the beautiful colors in the side as well. So that's going to cook down with some of your beautiful fresh flavors. Very simple ingredients. And it's not an expensive dish to make. And that beautiful casserole will be great for feeding a bunch of our friends. I'm going to set it over here, Mom. This is for you. And you get that pot going?
Yeah.
All right, right there. So I've cut up some potatoes. I gotta drain them. So I cut up some potatoes earlier, and potatoes are a big deal in Canada. It's something we produce a lot of. I'll give a shout out to Prince Edward Island, or PEI, if you're here from Atlantic Canada. And all of our provinces make great potatoes. But Prince Edward Island, thank you. You're very much known for your best potato spuds. So I've left the skins on. These are nice, fresh, local potatoes. I've got one of my cloths here because I had just had these soaking in water. So I'm just going to dry those potatoes off a little bit because I want to put them in the air fryer to cook, but I don't want them to be really wet when they go in because they won't get as crispy. So we're going to build this poutine. And Mom, I'm going to need you to give me a hand because there's a little baggie here somewhere with that cheese in it for our cheese curds, and it might still be in the fridge. So I've warmed my air fryer up. Air fryers are great. So I'm going to put that right in here. Woo. So we're going to put those in. And what I also like to make sure that I do before I'm putting them in is I just season my potatoes just a little bit before we put those into the air fryer. It's in a packaged cheese curds. I don't know.
Fridge.
So she's just looking around for our cheese curds, which we seemingly have misplaced. Here they are,
Right.
right in front of me. So when you're making poutine, Mom, you've got that water on. You can put one of those packages in. That's right here. There's a few things that make a poutine really, really great. And one of them is using a really great gravy. So I often make a fresh gravy, but there's some really good packaged gravies. And I'll tell you, I wanted to have a little fun today. So I got this one from the one of our import stores. It's a mushroom and onion gravy mix. I think it's going to be amazing. It's mixed with water, so it's not going to be as rich or thick and as fatty. So we're going to be using this, and I'm just going to add a few extra things. So Mom's got the water boiling. And then we've got these amazing cheese curds. So we're going to come back and look at those in a few minutes because we want to assemble that when the fries are hot, because that's the key. So I think all of us have been curious what's going on with the lobster, right? So we're going to make a small amount. I'm just going to use the tail. All the pieces of the lobster are amazing. And I'm just going to show you a little bit. Mom said earlier, one of the biggest reasons Atlantic Canadian lobster, Fun Day lobster is the best is that part of our ocean's very cold in the bay. They come in and there's a lot of great things we've shared on Atlantic Canada Cooks about how sustainable our farmers are. And that's, I think, something really important to know. So we make sure we know that these are female lobster, because they told us that, and you can tell by how the fins are in the back of a lobster. So the other thing is you're probably going to see that he has this elastic. So the reason why these are put on, and these were cooked fresh yesterday morning by Colin's Lobster Shop in Elma, is we want to make sure these claws don't get anybody. Now, I'm going to show you this one. The claw here is smooth. You see that? That's the claw they hold on with and they climb with. And now this other claw, which I won't be able to run my fingers over, is sharp. That's what they use to get a hold of their fish and their prey and to eat their food. And I'll tell you, I know Shinobu is so excited because Shinobu, when she was here, made sure she ate as many lobster rolls as she could. And I know Shinobu will ask you in a second here because I know she's got some great comments. So I am being very mindful right now of where this tail is, because there's going to be, see, a lot of the water come out of it. They're cooked in seawater. So when you're cleaning a lobster, it can be messy. So really, one of the first things you're going to do is you're going to take the tail off. So there's the body and then the tail. So I'm going to take this tail and I'm going to use a pair of scissors. It's still running. I'm going to end up with this everywhere. I just cracked the tail with my hands sideways. And I'm just going to, and actually this is cracking open without me even using a pair of scissors, which is even better. So inside of that is going to be that wonderful meat. And I don't know if you can hear the shells cracking below my hand. So there we go. So it's coming right out of the shell. I often use these shells too after, and I'll keep them and I'll make a broth. So tomorrow I'll make Mom and I a nice lobster chowder out of it, and I'll boil the shells to make that broth. So this is beautiful. It's going to come out in one nice piece. I'm going to hold it over the bowl. So there we have that beautiful piece of lobster tail meat. And this is really one of my favorite parts, that and the claws. So we're going to peel the back off. And we want to take out the stuff. And this is the roe, right, Mom?
The red stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the ways we know it's a female. So we're going to take that off because we just want to clean out the back part of this. There we go. So Mom, I am going to use these. I'm going to hand Mom this tray. I will be cleaning the rest of these later for Mom and I to enjoy. But right now, Mom's walking by smelling it. I love it. We're going to take this beautiful piece of tail meat. Can you hand me a paper towel, Mom, please? Just still getting the rest cleaned out here. And like all animals, we just need to clean the inside of it out because we don't really want to eat that part. Albeit, it really doesn't hurt you, and I've eaten probably a lot of it when I'm eating these by a beachside. Pardon me. So the funny thing about that lobster tail is it almost feels like it's split in half for you. And I'm using my little trusty scissors here. And I'm just going to cut this in a nice size chunks. The meat is so tender. And I think Michelle needs to do a taste test. Wow. Thank you, Colin's Lobster. Thank you, Bay of Funde. Absolutely amazing. The flavor in it, it really doesn't need anything. And what you're going to see with the recipe I'm going to make today for these lettuce wraps for Mom and I is I don't put a lot of seasoning on the lobster, because if you do, you've just over seasoned a very beautiful and quite expensive seafood that really is great on its own for the flavor that it has. And I know I see a lot of people make a lot of other type of seafood dishes, and yes, they're delicious, But my favorite way is just to unpack and eat the lobster, sometimes dipped in a little bit of hot butter. So, and you can see, because that's one tail from the lobster and it's just got that small amount in it. So we're going to make these nice 2 lobster wraps for Mom and I this morning. So I'm going to use a little bit of mayonnaise in this. Like my stand, I'm using my maple sugar to put my, and in this amount, I don't want a lot. So I'm probably only using about a 1/2 teaspoon of mayonnaise in there. And one of the other things that we really like to put in it is a little bit of celery. But I don't want big chunks of the celery. I really want that celery to be small. So I'm just going to run my knife. Mom, would you hit pause on those fries and just give them a shake? So there's the pause button right there. And just shake them around. When you're cooking French fries in an air fryer, I find it's really important to just move them around. How do they look, Mom? They look good. They smell good. They certainly do. Yeah, and put play. There we go. So this is the size of the dice that we're going to be using. So just a little bit of that's going to go in. Yeah, that looks good. Just a little bit more on my cutting board here. In with the lobster. And because it was cooked in some salt water, it doesn't need a lot of salt, but I am going to use just a tiny dash of salt and a little bit of pepper. It lives in salt water, like Mom said. And so you're always going to get a lot of great salty umami, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So the other thing is I'm just looking in my bowl here, and I've got a few of these leeks that I had cut up earlier because I want a tiny bit of onion. I would normally just use a chive, and just again, just a few chives that would go in there because we do not want to over season that beautiful, delicate meat. So we're going to stir this up. Smells good. I already can smell the lobster, and it's interesting because that celery, I find, just gives it a really nice freshness and a little bit of the fresh bite of it, right? The crispy crunch that comes in adds a nice texture for that lobster. Now, I've seen them where, and you can see there, the lobster's got a little bit of mayonnaise on each piece, but it's not coated in mayonnaise because we really don't want to just eat a mayonnaise sandwich. So what I'm going to do here is I've got some of this romaine lettuce here, and this is what I like to do as an alternative to using a bunch of bread. Bread is wonderful, but it's the same place as I want to taste my lobster. And it looks really pretty against the green. I don't think I was very good at getting all my plates out today. So I would be able to take like this piece here and break it. So there's 1 lettuce cup. And then I'm just going to make it so we're making them prettier for Mom and I. And I'm going to get another one to have the green end in. Here we go. And I would make the whole tray of these. And the nice thing is you can make a little go a long way when you're having guests, because I have to say, Mom and I often eat our lobster, just the 2 of us. Or we'll have friends, everybody will bring their own lobster. So BYOL, bring your own lobster. And that way everybody gets an even bite of a nice treat. But you know what's really nice is this piece of the tail is going to give me 4 really nice size bites for Mom and I to share. That means we get 2 each, Mom. How exciting is that? And I don't know if that's my Jacqueline from Lunenburg, but if it is, she also loves her lobster. I just see Jacqueline coming in there. And I remember an episode about 3 years ago on Atlantic Canada Cooks where Jacqueline was getting very excited over her fresh lobster she was having. And Now my little bites are having, there we go. I'm actually gonna get 5 out of this. Oh, Mom, we're gonna be fighting over the last one. 2 each and an extra one. It's nope. She was fast with that response, everybody. No, we won't. I think it'll go to the mama. So there we have it. Take my hand off. So there's your lettuce bites. So what is really great about these is you can roll it right up.
Uh-huh. You were eating it already.
I mean, guess who's back to visit,
Yeah. Soon as I turn my back, you know.
right? All right, Mom. Let's give you this one and we'll let Mom have her. And the best thing about this, put your hand that way. There we go. These are not something that needs to sit. These are something that we recommend that you eat right away. This is a very true taste of Canada. So I'm gonna put this over here. I'm gonna put it in my mouth. The gravy looks great, Mom. I think actually, Mom, if you could add a tiny bit of water to that.
I was thinking that.
I'm just gonna test our fries. They're nice and crispy. And they're hot. I just want to make sure they're cooked through. Oh, they need a little bit, just another minute. A very common dinner we would get, and I know we've got some good friends here in Canada. We've got lots of friends from around the globe in our Zoom meeting, and hi to everybody on YouTube. Having a lobster roll with fries would be a really common thing that we would go have. And it's a combination that goes together. And I've seen a lot of places also make a lobster poutine, which again, I love my lobster, but I really don't think I want to have it with all of that extra stuff. But Mom, I think we did do a lobster poutine one year here, and it was really great. So I've got this double smoked bacon, and again, I'm going to use my trusty kitchen shears and cut that up. I washed the lobster off those. So we want nice big chunks of bacon that are going to go on the top of our poutine with our cheese. And I know, Mom, you've got those ones are going to be coming out. Do you want to just go? I'll grab a plate. Mom, how much do you like poutine?
Well, I don't eat it often, but I do like it.
I've been out with her and she enjoys every once in a while just
Yeah.
getting that one that's perfect.
Yeah.
So we know what we're having for breakfast. So when we build this, we want to build it fast, so to speak, because the fries are hot. And again, we use nice, fresh, local cut fries. Get the stray fry out of there. Yes. So the first thing that we're going to put in here are, I need a hot plate if you couldn't mind behind me, Mom.
What?
One of those things there. Thank you. I got a hot plate here. My wonderful hot plate from Morocco is perfect. Thanks, Mom. All right. So we've got the hot fries. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the cheese curds around. And the thing about this recipe is you want to get the cheese curds nice and mixed. And these are big ones.
Yeah, they are.
Struggling with the size. These are really thick cheese curds. So I'm actually going to cut a couple in half. They're a thicker cheese. And the key to a cheese curd is it's supposed to be squeaky in your teeth.
Yeah.
So you really want to make sure that that cheese curd has that squeaky kind of when you chew it. And it's a mild cheese. The cheese itself does not have a lot of flavor, albeit you can buy a lot of different flavored cheeses in the cheese curd family. I think this is going to be good. This guy here. There. Thank you, Mom. We get a good amount. And nobody wants to be shorted on the cheese curds because they're kind of part of that really.
That's what everybody goes for.
Everybody's going for the cheese curds. So we're going to get in there. So then the next thing, did you put water in that?
Yeah.
We're gonna do, and that smells delicious. We're gonna drizzle. Oh, that looks amazing. I can tell you the smell smells delicious. And I think just a tiny bit more. And I think my mother just got, yeah, Chernobyl is there. She's got the fork out there. She's like, look out, Michelle. I'm ready. Ready. So we're still not ready though.
Put the bacon on it.
We're gonna top this off with some bacon. Oh yeah. And she also needs to take a picture. So she wants to eat this before
Gets
I
cold.
get to top it off. And I'm just gonna put a couple of those really nice diced up leeks on top. And for me, we did season the fries, remember earlier? But we want to put a little extra seasoning on those now. And it's so funny because my mother is so armed with that fork. We're gonna get that
Oh,
picture
you're gonna take it, okay.
and you can see all those wonderful things.
Well,
Come on around here, Mom. I'm gonna be armed with a fork too,
you have to eat it when they're hot.
right?
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, because then the other thing, ooh, it is hot because it's hot under my finger. And then it really is made it. I can hear the cheese curd squeaking in my teeth. I can feel it too. Very delicious. The onion mushroom gravy added a nice piece. And yeah, so you'll start to see once the heat is hitting the gravy, the cheese curds get a little stretchy too. So, that's going to be in your future. So welcome to Canada, eh? It really is something. So I'm dangerously going to send Helen away with that. And I think she's going to go sit and enjoy a little bit of that
Well, it's hot.
while it's hot. And hopefully there'll be a little bit more of that left over. Celebrating with my wonderful Canada mug here. And I'm drinking actually some Moroccan mint tea mixed with some fresh mint from my backyard. So as we wrap up today, it's been a delicious day. And I have to tell you what I also have here in front of me is a bowl of fresh strawberries. So there's so much local strawberries from the local farmers and vendors that are out now. And they're honestly like candy. You do not need to put anything on them. Just eat the strawberries. But my mom really likes to put some balsamic vinegar on them, and it's a wonderful combination. So we've got those that we've been eating. But in the last few minutes, where it's Canada Day, we said we go out and we buy a lot of different things, or we go visit people and we bring dishes and bring treats. Well, I'm gonna make some peanut butter balls. But I am gonna turn on our burner because I'm gonna get Mom when she's done eating her poutine to come up. And we're gonna fry up a couple of pieces of that beef so that you can see how nice that is. And again, that beef is served usually as an appetizer, or you can use it with you cook a whole pile of it and have it together. So I've got some peanut butter here. And you've heard me talk about this peanut butter before, but it's wonderful. In the spirit of Canada, Canada was known for not, I guess, inventing peanut butter, but bottling and packaging it and getting peanut butter out there. A lot of people don't know a lot of those fun facts. We were talking about fun facts about famous people from Canada, like musicians like Bryan Adams, Drake, Justin Bieber, Shania Twain is a big one. Celine Dion. There's so many Canadian people, and there's so many great things in this country. We were also known for basketball, not soccer though, or football, because Canada and Chile played last night, but it was a tie, 0-0. So I think Canada and Chile both are competitive.
And not hockey, as we all know.
We're hockey players though here. So Nutsmith is a beautiful, they make peanut butter, almond butter, different butters. They're in Windsor, Nova Scotia. So a shout out to them. So I'm going to be using, I'm just stirring that around. This is all really nice natural peanut butter. So there's not a lot of added sugars or anything. So I'm going to give you that, Mom. And you can move this.
That's good.
Don't mind. So in this bowl, I've got about 3/4 of a cup of peanut butter. And these are just like, for me, this is comfort food. I'm going to put about 1/4 of a cup of rolled oats. So oatmeal that's going to go in. We do want to keep peanut butter the hero. Where's my, oh, there's my scissors. Cut this package open. I love coconut. Anything coconut, anything you can put coconut in. I use it in sweet. I use it in savory. I absolutely love it.
And
And
strawberries too.
it's amazing. It's amazing. You can coconut and everything.
Wow.
And coconut oil is really good for you too. So we've got some great coconut. Actually, this is an imported coconut. And I'm just trying to look at the back of where it's imported in from. But I got it yesterday at the Taste of the Homeland store. And I'm not entirely sure what language I'm reading. So yay, we really don't grow coconut in Canada. So I promise you, when we're using coconut here, it's imported. Because that's one thing is not produced, of many that are not produced in our climate. So I used about 1/2 cup of coconut. Then the other thing I'm going to add to this recipe, because it gives us some sweetness and some dense, is some raisins. So I'm going to put about 1/4 of a cup. I'll put this recipe in after for ratio. It doesn't have to be perfect. Can you pass the maple syrup over, Mom, please? So I'm really looking to make sure that these are all going to come together and form into a really nice ball. So we do need to add a little bit of sweet in here. So of course, keeping all things maple, we're going to use some maple syrup. And for now, I'm going to put about 1/4 of a cup. And this is going to be very dirty on my hands with this one. How's our burner coming there, Mom? Want to just test the heat?
I didn't put any liquid in.
No, there's a little bit, just we'll put there's a little bit of olive oil right beside you. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna put a bit of olive in there. Those are coming together really well. Some people use maybe a flour, and a lot of people want to make these really extra sweet, and they would use like a white icing sugar. So I basically don't use that white icing sugar. I used raisins instead of chocolate chips, just to try to keep them just a little bit healthier. But I need a little bit more of something. So I'm going to put a little bit more coconut. I could use a little bit more oats. Now, what will happen is, because the oats are in there and the oats are dry and the peanut butter and the maple has the moisture, they will absorb some of that moisture and come together. Now, what I love about these is tomorrow's Canada Day, and Mom and I are going to go enjoy some fireworks. We're going to go check out some of the wonderful festivities that are going on around this region. And I know at the school in Lunenburg, they're going to be enjoying so many wonderful things that are happening on the South Shore of Nova Scotia. So, Mom, you're going to keep an eye. Do you want to just grab the beef over? So these are perfectly formed. And there we go.
Beef in?
Hang on, Mom. It's going to be a little bit challenging to get. There we go. Look at that. Oh. So there's a perfect shaped peanut butter ball. And now sometimes those of us that love coconut like just a lot could also just sprinkle a little extra coconut. So it's like it's snowing, but no snow this time of year. So, and I will make sure that I sit those in the refrigerator. And again, in a couple of hours, they'll firm up a little bit more because of the moisture between the two. But I can tell you, oh yeah, they're perfectly good to eat right now. And to think sometimes my friends will be like, Sunday morning, 9, Michelle? I'm like, do you know how well I eat? It's great. And Mom and I have all this beautiful food. made up. And we're going to go do some Canada Day celebrations with some friends this afternoon. All right, Mom.
Put it in.
Yep. Just put about 3 in, Mom. And I wanted to show you just how fast. I need to get my hand towel here. These are going to cook up because they really only need to go into the pan. Let me see. Okay, thanks, Mom. It's almost just look right in front of you because the pan was hot. Flatten that one out. One quick flip. And that those are going to be done. We'll let it give a little bit of, yeah, I think we can get a little plate out, Mom. So we hope you're enjoying these recipes as we wrap up today. We wanted to show you some really great and easy things, readily available ingredients here in Canada. I'd say year round. There we go. Perfect, Mom. There we go. Woo. Those smell absolutely divine. You can see that coming out. Michelle made a mess on the side of that plate. Finger. Oh, yeah. Really amazing flavor. You can get, you know that there's something in behind it, but if you didn't tell someone it was the whiskey, they probably wouldn't know. Pardon me. Allergy season this season. So let's just hold one of these up and have a look at. Again, these are beautiful put out on a charcuterie board. I can honestly tell you, these are an amazing in a sandwich. Put them in a little lettuce wrap, or just do what we're going to do, and that's simply just have a bite.
And if somebody can't drink alcohol, once you hit the heat, it cooks the alcohol off it.
Exactly.
It leaves the flavor.
I am going to share one with her, but it will be afterwards. They're really spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
I knew they were going to taste good because, as we say here in Atlantic Canada Cooks, when you start with good ingredients, visit some of your local people, visit your local butcher, and explore all of these wonderful flavors around you. Our farmers work really hard to bring these things to our tables. Get back in the kitchen. Turn up some good music. We've got a lot of new music things that we're going to be featuring coming out of here. And if some of you don't follow along with Jawad Marksy, who also is Erez, he's got a new song. So we're going to fly away today and just go out and celebrate food, music, art, and all the people around you that are wonderful. And pass me the bowl of cheese curds, please, Mom. On a last art note, like this, for example, this beautiful bowl is from Wendy Johnston Pottery that's down in Hopewell towards Elma. And these people work really hard every day at their crafts and to help that stuff get on our tables. So go say hi, go out and celebrate all of the festivities that you have around the world. But for those of you inside of Canada, we hope you see you at some fireworks and celebrating with everybody. And next week's going to be all about chocolate because it's World Chocolate Day.
Hold me back.
We love chocolate. So that's going to be a good one. So thanks so much, everybody. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, please, if you have not. We're going to be putting a lot more things in there. And we love seeing all of your beautiful faces here with us and appreciate all of you. So spend time with your mom, your parents, your friends, and get back in the kitchen.
Take care. Happy Canada